Anita, the book, The Big But, is all about buts. So I want to talk about the buts. They are really, really a key part because obviously doing the title of the book, The Big But. Tell me more.
When I talk about butts, I'm not talking about physical butts or bottoms or buttocks or whatever you want to call it. I'm talking about the non-physical butts, the words we use to stop us creating the life we really want to lead. Every time we use a but in a sentence, it's an objection. And we really need to sort of start focusing on how often we use them and try and learn to recognize, oh, I used a but there. What word could I change that to make that a much better sentence? For example, we might have ideas about our career. I'd like to give up my job and become a self-employed business person, but I don't know anything about being self-employed. If you change that narrative to, I would like to give up my job and become a self-employed business person, and I need to do a bit of research to find out how I can do it, it just goes up. The energy is so much better. A but is a doubt, and we know by reading the book that a doubt creates an airbag, and every time you create an airbag, any arrows of desire from your archer are going to just ricochet off, bounce off. Yeah.
So the idea of the but and putting it in, how do we actually, how do we identify and what form do these buts usually take?
The buts usually start early in life, and it will come again from narrative, from things we've heard. For example, if nobody in your family has ever been self-employed, you've got no benchmark, you don't know how to do it, there's no one to go to for advice, you haven't seen a successful business person in your family, so you've got nothing to compare it to. And I know I've said previously about comparison is the thief of joy. You don't want to compare it to, but it would be really nice to have somebody as a form of mentor to help you through this. We can have different types of buts that come up. There can be career buts, as I've just mentioned. There can be health buts. I want to lose weight, but it's really difficult once you turn 50. Ask yourself, is that but true? What's coming after that but? Is it true? And I think that's the key thing to ask yourself. Is this something that you've heard? I will talk to friends and we will moan about wanting to lose weight. And time again, it's like, well, once you've, hit menopause, it's really hard to lose weight. And then you see a friend 6 months later and they've lost 1.5 stone. And it's like, well, that's rubbish. That's not true, is it? That analogy doesn't mean anything. So we just need to question it. All too often, we're just like sponges. They say when children are small, they're like sponges and they soak up every bit of information. We continue to do it throughout our life. And all too often, we don't question it. We just accept it. I mean, questioning things is okay. You don't want to become so pedantic that you question everything that's told to you, but you're soaking up things as a sponge, and just be careful what you're letting in, really.
So we're all individuals and we all sort of approach things, I guess, from a different angle, and probably we all have our own way of expressing a but. Literally, something, but I can't do this, or but that's not available to me. So how do we identify our own buts, if you like?
Think about experiences that you've had, rejections that you've had, anything like that may have contributed to the but. Pay attention to your words. That's the key one. Think about the words you're using, because that's where your clues will be. Think about the thing you want to do. So say you want to try kite surfing, for example, only because I saw them doing it the other day down on the beach. So I would love to do kite surfing, and my buts are, but I'd probably break a bone, but I'd probably end up in the English Channel, but I would probably, and these are all buts that I can add on to it. If you think about something you want to do, write it down and think about all the buts after it, and then ask yourself, are those buts true? Are they valid? Is there a way I could change that but into an and, to actually be able to do this desire, this thing I want, without adding any doubt into it by adding in a but? And I think it's just ask repeatedly, why have I put that but in there? Why have I said I'm going to break something? In my case, I'm no stranger to wearing a plastic boot on my foot, because I try things and quite often fail, but it doesn't stop me trying it again. But I want to experience all these things. And how much are we stopping ourselves experiencing things? However, having said that, probably what's stopping me doing kite surfing is that I've had enough of being in a plastic boot with a damaged ankle. So that's probably what's stopping me doing it. But then that's come from experience. So do your buts come from experience? Do they come from other people's narratives that you've accepted as true, that you haven't questioned, and they've become your own? And if we can shrink our buts, then that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think you touched on that self-limiting belief, isn't it? If you've got a self-limiting belief, and that is your but, I'm sort of paraphrasing, I think, what you said here, and if that's your but, then that's something that could be changed. Whereas if it's something that, more serious, there's a very good, real reason that you shouldn't do something, and that's a but. It doesn't necessarily mean that you should go ahead and do it, but maybe find something else that you can do that satisfies that need.
There is, and that's the thing. If your but comes from experience, then experience is a great teacher, isn't it? So that's a reason not to do it. And I think if somebody is a business person and they've set up 5 businesses and all of them have failed, they keep setting up another business and then that business will fail. It'll go into bankruptcy or something. You could say that from experience, they shouldn't really be starting any more businesses, potentially. There must be a limiting belief somewhere for that individual. And it might be that they don't actually believe they deserve to be a successful business person, because there may be a narrative from their childhood or somewhere that, business people are not good people. So they really have this desire to be successful. They want to be successful, but then they stop and they sabotage it. And that's another thing around it with the buts, is sabotaging things, because they just think, well, I'm a successful business person, but my businesses always fail.
Yeah, beware the saboteur in your mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anisha, it's fantastic talking to you. The book is out, of course, right now. It's in various formats. Where can people get it?
You can get it on Amazon, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, and there's more information on the LOA Hub site. There's some free resources to help people with this. And I just want to get a narrative going, get people talking about the law of attraction, and just realising that maybe just something from the book will help them understand that they could lead a different life to the one that they're leading now if they're not happy with it.
Well, The Big But's a fantastic read. It's well recommended. Again, we're out of time, but we have a lot to talk about still. We'll pick it up in the next podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Alan.